Hi, welcome back to the channel. I swear one of these days I will start one of these videos not in my car.
You're going in! 3, 2, 1, go!
So today's Saturday. It is 6:21 a.m. Obviously dark outside. Waiting for Emily. We're gonna do 11 miles. And I was feeling pretty good during the week until yesterday. My right hip decided to start hurting. So I think my body just really hates me this year for some reason. Or maybe I jinxed it by the whole, Goofy went so well. I actually had a whole nother intro to this video, but it didn't really work out because I forgot to film most of what I was talking about. Thursday, for my 45 minutes, I actually went out to a trail that I hadn't been out to in a really long time. This could be why my right hip hurts too, is that I ran on a trail I hadn't been on in a really long time, and it's a lot of up and down and roots and stuff, so it could have been that. But it was really fun. The high school cross country team had gone out there, so I met them out there and did some running with them. Tuesday, for the 45 minutes, I started to do a hill workout, and then I remembered that at this point in the Galloway training program, when you hit the double-digit long runs, I don't do workouts running during the week. I also have already cut out doing actual weights during the week. I'll do a Peloton workout, but I'll do it all body weight. And then also when we hit these double digits, I don't do hills, intervals, or tempo. I just keep it easy during the week, so to keep my legs fresh for whatever the long run is. So that's, I got halfway through a hill workout and remembered that, so we're actually going to do an actual hill workout next week. Something fun that I've been doing whenever I have a treadmill thing or whatever, is I have gone back and compiled all of Running in Makeup's and Gerald Resnick from Res Runs. This is a labor of love. It took me forever, but I pulled all of their Goofy and Dopey training videos that they've ever done and put them in a playlist and try to match up the weeks so that I can, revisit what they were doing during this time when they were training for this. And Kristen with Running in Makeup, when she did Dopey the first time, resurrected the runDisney tag. And now that I've got a few race weekends under my belt, and because I just need something to keep my mind off each mile probably today, I will be doing the runDisney tag. So I've got quite a few weekends that I could be talking about now, because I think because she actually tagged me when she did it a couple years ago, but I think at that point I'd only ever done one race weekend, but now I have 3 under my belt, and a lot of prospective costumes and things like that coming up. So we'll be going through the runDisney tag questions for each mile of our 11 miles today. Got a sunrise. All right, 1 mile down. First question: how did you hear about runDisney? Well, when I was little girl.
Yeah.
Hi.
You too.
So how'd you hear about runDisney? When I was a little girl, my dad did a runDisney race, and then I kind of forgot about it. And then my sister and mother-in-law, of course, reminded me how great it can be. So pretty easy, pretty simple. That's my runDisney origin story. All right, mile 2. How many runDisney races have you done? Okay, let's see. Virtual Princess 5K, and then in-person 10K and half Princess, Marathon Weekend half and full for Goofy, and Disneyland 10K and half for the Dumbo Double Dare. And I have Wine and Dine in a couple months, so that's exciting. And then Dopey So we'll be adding 6 to the number.
Morning.
All right, mile 3, question 3. What is your favorite runDisney race or race weekend? Oh, probably I've only done Princess and Marathon and Walt Disneyland. And we know how I feel about Disneyland. Marathon weekend, such a hype.
Reduce speed on that sign.
That's what we're doing. Okay, we're actually like over 4.5 in, but question 4, favorite park to run through. Even though I don't like Disneyland, I will say I loved running through Avengers Campus. And then on my home turf, I love, I mean, there's nothing like running through the castle, but since you only get Magic Kingdom on certain courses, I'm gonna say Animal Kingdom. I really loved that. And Hollywood Studios. They're all my favorite, I can't pick. We're getting there, guys. All right, we're actually almost to 6 miles. We're gonna do mile 5 question. Favorite runDisney medal? We actually had a theme week for this a few weeks ago. It's my Goofy medal. But I have a feeling Dopey will knock it out of first place come January. My knee, I can tell, is blowing up, but it's not. I'm gonna keep going. My foot feels okay, hip feels okay, so that's fantastic. I also have a ton of ibuprofen in my system, so we'll see what happens when all that's out of my system. But question 6, 3 songs in my runDisney playlist. I have to pick 3. I have like 500 songs on my running list. Happily Ever After, Go the Distance. What else can I do? Those are just the ones I have so many songs on my list. One day I will talk about all the music I listen to, but those are 3 Disney related songs. Oh, Magic Happens. I added a 4th because I can. All right, Emily being the good run buddy, she's like, you haven't been on video in a while. We are almost 9 in, but I only know what question 7 is. Or maybe it's question 6, I don't even know. But the next question is, do you PR at a Disney race?
Get over.
Only in character. I only PR in character stops. That's it. There it is, folks. Whew. Not quite as speedy as my 9 miles, but I actually walk quite a bit. Whew. My knee hurts pretty good right now. Oh gosh. I'm a little concerned because I know I have quite a bit of ibuprofen in my system and it still hurts this bad. Foot didn't hurt a whole lot. It was hurting the last couple of miles. It was hurting during run segments. Hip didn't bother me at all. So, but I gotta figure this thing out. Back in my car, headed back to my house to ice all the things. Usually when I'm done with a run, especially a long one, I like to, evaluate how I'm feeling and if I could keep going. It was the first time in a long time where I was like, nope, I don't know if I could do, another 2 miles and make it a half marathon because of how bad my knee was hurting. So of all the things that I thought were going to bother me today, it wasn't my knee. But we're gonna do all the things that I didn't do last time. We're gonna do it. But we'll do rapid fire for the questions that I just did not finish during the back half of that run. All right, so question 8 was, what characters do you always stop for? I don't really have characters that I will always stop for. If the line is, fairly short, even if it's a character I'm not like even super excited about, I'll stop. I'm just a fan of getting pictures and stuff. But I always, the lines, the characters that I really love will always have really long lines, like Mickey and Goofy and all that. But there isn't really 1 or 2 particular characters that I always have to stop for. I remember thinking it was so funny at the end of the marathon. It was probably, I can't remember if we had already gone through Hollywood Studios or not. We were on the boardwalk, and I was like, man, there's only like 2 or 3 people in all of these character lines, and it was because we were so close to the end that people were just like, we want to finish, we want to be done with this race. So people just weren't stopping for characters anymore at that point. So it made it really easy to jump in line, grab a picture, and keep going. My favorite pre and post race meal. I haven't eaten at enough places on race weekends actually at Disney, but as far as just in general, pre-race, like dinner before, I did the whole like pasta thing, and I got kind of burned out on that. So I found other things. Like, I love to have grilled chicken and the really good rolls, like those yeast rolls, and a veggie of some sort, like green beans or something, and or salad. Another thing that I really have taken a liking to for like the day before a race, we did this at the Memphis half marathon. My sister and I, we're like, what are we gonna get for dinner? So we didn't like drive out into the city, but there was a Subway nearby. So a sub sandwich. Oh my gosh, it's so good. And even your basic sub sandwich has all the essentials that you'd like to eat the night before a race. It's got a little bit of carbs, got a little bit of protein, and that whole deal. Post race, anything and everything. Like today, I'm going to get pizza. That's my reward for long runs. Anything over a 10K usually, I will get myself pizza. For really any type of food, burger, chocolate, anything like that. All right, question 10. What is my favorite costume I've run in? I don't really do elaborate. I've never even, as much as I try to put, something really cool together, they're never super elaborate because I like to definitely be sure that I'm able to comfortably run. So I'm trying to think. I really, like I said, a lot of them aren't really even costumes. They're just like bounding, I got the color thing going on. So, probably I loved my Goofy shirt that I wore for the marathon. Let's see. I actually don't even remember what I wore at Disneyland. Oh, I actually do remember. Okay, well, I remember one of them anyway. For the 10K, I wore the Sleeping Beauty dress, and that's the only time I've ever wore a dress. It was actually very comfortable. It was different. So I don't know if it's necessarily my favorite, but that was definitely, up to this point, the most different thing I've wore is, an actual athletic type dress, my Sleeping Beauty dress. Yeah, so I guess really probably my favorite would just be Goofy, and not necessarily even because of what the outfit was, but just the race that I wore it in, and the memory that goes with it. Question 11. Which costume are you most looking forward to wearing? I have 2. Of course, Dopey. My Dopey shirt and my sparkle skirt for, getting, it's going to be, at this point, it really feels like it's going to be a hard-fought battle to get from where I'm sitting right now to Dopey. But getting to wear my purple sparkle skirt and my Dopey shirt and get that Dopey medal is going to be fantastic. Also, I'm looking forward to, for Wine and Dine, for the half, I'm wearing, like a French girl outfit. So I'm looking forward to that. Something similar, but still a little different. I got these, like, cool sunglasses to really make me not look like a mime, because when I first put on the shirt and the skirt, I texted Katie and I was like, I look like a mime. She's like, well, you gotta accessorize it to make it look like a French girl, so I gotta get some accessories. But, yeah, so the costume thing, I'm not super elaborate with my costumes, but the memory that goes with them, I definitely have that. So, 11 miles done. I'm gonna get home, get iced up, get cleaned up, do some chores, but we will wrap up with our Run the Mile a Year In chapter. The end of week 10. I didn't know if I was gonna make it that 11 miles, but it went. My knee did start feeling better 24 hours after. It was still feeling a little uncomfortable, but I mean, I did all the recovery things. I didn't know that I didn't have any ice cups actually ready, so I just had regular ice, which doesn't work super well when you're trying to get like inside the joint of your knee, but ice cup and ice massage works way better. So I've been doing that. Everything's kind of feeling okay today, which is actually Monday. But our theme, or for our chapter in our book, is belief. And it actually is appropriate because these long runs can sometimes have you doubting yourself. But one of the first statements that he makes is the way to become a mentally tough runner is to believe you are a mentally tough runner. And that can, I think, sometimes be hard, but if you've been doing this for a while, you can pull from your experience that you already have. I ran goofy, so I've done these distances before. Yes, it's going to be different now. It's 2 years later, and obviously I'm getting older, I guess, and things are just going to start breaking down. Things are going to start hurting. But I'm doing everything I can to kind of keep all of it at bay. He shares a verse from Romans, but in all these things we overwhelmingly conquer through him who loved us. He says, I encourage you to prepare simple declarations to counter the negative thoughts that go through your mind when things get tough. And an example he gives is, if you're thinking, I'm just not very good at this, change it to tell yourself, I am working to become strong at this. And then he says, you might not feel great in that moment of struggle, but the more you repeat that positive declaration in your head, the better you will feel about yourself and your ability to do what you imagine to be impossible. During the 11 miles, it was really those last 2 miles when my knee really started hurting. And it was uncomfortable, but I was also telling myself, my pace, while a little bit slower than the 9 mile thing, was still well below my goal pace for what I want to do my marathon in. And cardiovascularly, I felt great. So those are I try to pick out, no matter what the run, if something is not really feeling right, I try to evaluate what is going well instead of, focusing on maybe a little bit of pain I have or, that type of thing. He says, if you have the opportunity to encourage those you train with or interact with, you can plant the seeds that grow into true grit. And I think that part is important if you know someone or are training with someone who this is their first 5K or first 10K. Like how I said, I've done goofy, so I know I've done these distances before. There's plenty of people who have never done this before. This is their first time. So that's an opportunity for you to provide that encouragement and provide that positivity because they don't have that experience to pull from yet. And I think that's what makes a running community so great, is how we encourage each other. I told my cross-country team how I think they're just doing a fantastic job of encouraging each other, as well as all these other teams that they get to interact with at these races. They've just been so positive. It's been amazing to watch. And the last thing I wanted to share from this chapter was, we need to believe the best about ourselves, focusing on what we want to increase in our bodies and in our lives. So it's just like the chapter, I can't remember if it was the chapter previous to that one, or, it was a few chapters ago, because I was just sharing it with the teams this last week about positive focus, where the statement that a friend of his gave him, or I think it was a pastor, who said, I can't afford to have a thought about myself that God doesn't have. So it's just like that, believe positive things about ourselves is step one in the right direction to achieving the goals that we're setting. So I hope everyone's doing good. We made it through week 10, 11 miles. So the interesting thing that happens in a couple of weeks is that we add in that 4th day on the Galloway plan to where we start having the back-to-back longer run days. I think the first one's like 4 miles and then 13. But that worries me just a little bit, just because of the overuse, really, or chronic, or whatever you want to call it, these things that I'm dealing with. The way I've managed them the past few weeks is not running back to back. So this next week, week 11, I'm going to start trying to add back in 2 running days back to back and see how that goes. Because, come week 12, that's, it's going to be important. I mean, that's an important part of being able to complete Dopey, is to have that time on your feet back to back. So I gotta get all of this icing and recovering, get a good plan in place for that. But I hope everyone's training is going well and that you had a very successful 11 miles if that's the plan you are training with. Be sure to give this video a like, leave me a comment, how did your 11 miles go if that's what you did, or whatever plan you're on, how did your running go this week? And be sure to subscribe. Always remember that you are God's masterpiece, and I'll see you next week. Run Disney tag questions are in the description. Be sure to let me know if you answer them.